Hello, I'm Lann.
And I'm Lydia, and welcome to Special AF.
Today we have another very special guest for you. Who are you and what do you do?
I am Vicky Lillycrop and I am the Wellbeing Activities and Programme Facilitator in Carmarthenshire. It's quite a mouthful of a job title, isn't it?
What does that involve? Because it's quite... Is it as specific as it sounds?
So basically, the wellbeing activities part, let's split it down the middle. We've got activities and programmes. So activities is I'm pretty much responsible for organising all the activities that we run in the centre, but also in our drop-ins out in the community as well.
Okay.
And that can be workshops, that can be specific mental health workshops and different activities, or it can be, therapeutic activities, especially in the run-up to Christmas now, doing Christmas crafts, quizzes, all of that. So there's a lot of fun in it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's the activity side. And then the programme side is I facilitate our 8 weeks of wellbeing programme.
Oh, what's that all about?
So it's 8 weeks of wellbeing,
Okay.
and each session looks at... I do talk a lot with my hands.
That's
I apologise.
That's why I'm doing this, so I don't.
Shouldn't I? They're like
Go on.
really angry. I'll do this.
Yeah, it's not great body language on my part, is it?
So our 8 weeks of wellbeing programme, or course, it's not quite called a programme, is 8 weeks long, and each session looks at a different topic of mental health. So we look at unhelpful and helpful thinking patterns,
Okay.
Managing stress, emotions and feelings, mindfulness and relaxation, problem solving. There's 2 weeks on emotions and connection and things like that. All things that are important to our mental health, or that impact our mental health. So in a nutshell, each session has an hour of talking about that, and so groups are up to 12, so it's a nice small group, the same groups you connect with the people you're journeying through the course with.
Yeah.
And it's not group therapy, it's not counselling, but it's a space just to talk about your experiences and hopefully pick up some coping skills, some strategies and things like that.
Very
as
important.
well as just feeling a bit less isolated in what you're experiencing, isn't it? I know we'll go on to talk a lot about the challenges and the constraints on accessing like mental health support, and so like I say, it's not counselling, it's not the main solution, but there never is one solution, is there?
No,
There's
totally
lots
not.
of little things and steps that you take that I always find it a bit of trial and error with your mental health, isn't it? Of what works best, isn't it? So an hour of talking about those topics. It can be like relaxation techniques and things like that, breathing, distraction, things like that.
And do you run them yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I facilitate the group. We just finished one in the middle of October, and I'm going to start a new one in January.
Okay.
How do people get involved with
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. So all of our services are open access. You can self-refer. You don't need a diagnosis if you're struggling with your mental health. And you don't need to. You can simply walk into any of our drop-ins when we're open and access support when you need it.
Okay.
And that's what's really important to us. Often, in a crisis, in a moment of distress, you sometimes just really need to speak to somebody there and then. So that's the idea of our drop-ins. But you can self-refer into our groups, and I'll have a chat with people. And the main thing is that I talk to people and just ensure that they're in a place to be able to make use of the group. For instance, maybe if somebody was really struggling and needing maybe primary care services, maybe struggling and wouldn't maybe, because
it might not suit everyone.
It might not, in the way that, say for instance, we're talking about coping skills and distressing things. If you're in quite a moment of crisis, it might not be beneficial to you at that time, but I always say to people, if it's not right for you right now, it doesn't mean that it won't be, it will always be there,
it can still be part of your journey, but maybe not this week
now, so that conversation is more making sure it's right for right now for that person.
So you do a sort of mini soft triage when they
definitely
get there.
Yeah, because as I say, it's not there's not the kind of one-to-one support, so you wouldn't want somebody to, their mental health to worsen by kind of talking about things that they're not quite ready to explore, emotions. They can be really...
And it's not like acute support, is it?
Absolutely, definitely. But it's never a closed door. We have other forms of support. We have one-to-one support where we can work with somebody to find the support they need for that moment.
Okay. So lots of signposting from you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I assume everyone goes insane at Christmas. I know I do.
Well, I do.
I used to I do. I really like Christmas. I like the good bits. I like the seeing everybody and the pretty lights and the frostiness. But I'm not keen.
The frosty atmosphere.
The frosty feelings, the grumpy faces. No, and the eating, obviously. But like the financial responsibilities, there
is a flip side.
Yeah, the big one, I think.
Family.
Yeah, trying to
relationships.
Love you guys, but
and you get spread a bit thin, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot of expectations.
That's a
lot of pressures.
Yeah.
Relationships as well, and even in the lead up to Christmas. But I think as well, a big thing, we're on social media as well now, so we just see these picture perfect representations of what Christmas, and there can just be such a chasm between your experience and what you're seeing on social media, isn't it? And that can lead to all sorts of feelings of just grief and loss and just what it doesn't represent maybe what your own experience is, isn't it?
Very
and it
much
could be
so.
little things. Like we ruined Christmas last year by cooking dinner at the wrong time. Like for me, we ruined Christmas then.
We like, yes, some members of our family are creatures of habit.
Oh, okay.
Let's put it like that. We knew this, but we didn't perhaps know the extent to which that was the case. But we found out. So we won't ever do Christmas dinner at 5 p.m. again.
No, we've learned.
We'll do it at 1 because that's when you do it.
Oh dear.
But that's not that's not unique to us.
No.
It's a ritual, there's a tradition that Christmas, like it's
but
shot through with tradition.
Are there things that we should sort of keep in mind in the run up to Christmas that are sort of helpful?
Absolutely. I encourage people. We just recently had I did a winter wellbeing workshop in the centre, just kind of to give people that conversation of just exploring the difficult parts, and to acknowledge the challenges, and just to build. And what we did was build kind of that self-care like toolkit, that kind of plan almost, of what do you need in the run up to Christmas. I've done it myself over the years. I've just taken some time out to acknowledge what my pressure points are, like what are the things that really can tip me over the edge or bring me to that point of I'm not enjoying myself. This is far from what it's meant to be, isn't it?
Yeah, that's often the case, isn't it? You think, this is, let's have fun. And you kind of don't think any further.
The expectation that you have to enjoy it.
Because also everyone else is, because you see it on social media.
And then we're just suppressing the true emotions we probably have as we're leading up into that season, isn't it? And just pushing that down because that doesn't fit with the narrative of joy and cheer and fun and lightheartedness, isn't it? And then the more you suppress that, this anxiety and whatever kind of is brewing as well, and can kind of bubble up from the under the surface, isn't it? And
then Christmas is ruined.
Yeah, and it's just a very uncomfortable and difficult, distressing time, isn't it? And all the other end of the spectrum, it can lead people into crisis and into distress that they can't cope with. And sometimes some services are not open over Christmas and things like that, and then you don't know where you can turn to and things. So
it must be a perfect storm for some people. That sort of. You're not at work or family have gone away.
Routine,
like you said,
out the window.
Routine as well. That's a big one as well. If you're going to take time off and things like that, or if you're in university and seasonal and work closes for 2 weeks and you're used to that, and that routine is a stabilizer for you. All of those, if you think of them as stabilizers being taken away, it is a bit of a perfect storm. And some people see it as a storm, like, oh gosh, I've just got to weather these next 2 weeks.
Get through it,
isn't it? And it's a lot of pressure.
And it is like fancy Sunday dinner, really, isn't it?
that's all it is. It's a big dinner.
Yeah.
And Jesus' birthday.
Well, that goes without saying. Sorry, baby Jesus.
Different expectations, don't they, of what their Christmases represents.
I've noticed, or I recognise now that I get sort of mournful on Christmas Eve. Well, you know, when it's that quiet, just that before it all starts. But now I quite enjoy that. I sort of lean into it a bit and have my quiet time and just let it
do its thing. Yeah, just sit with it.
Yeah, let it be.
And I think the socialising side, you can go from one end of the spectrum where you've got family all around you and you don't get a minute's peace on your own when you really need it, all the way to you live on your own. Your family, maybe you don't have family around you, or very good relationships where you don't have people to go to and you're going to be on your own, or from one extreme to the other, you're having to manage your social needs, aren't you? And just that kind of...
Quite complicated, isn't it?
It's really complicated.
And we do it to ourselves. You were saying, Vicky, about I know we're not always responsible for what's happening, but you were saying for years now you've sort of managed how Christmas goes for you. Did you have to carve out your own personal, like, this is how I'd like Christmas to go? And you've been refining that?
Yeah, I think so. I think my Christmases can change year to year depending on kind of family around and things like that. But it's knowing kind of when I need time away, and time to myself, or time with friends and things like that. I think so I've just kind of learnt a bit more about, I think for me, when I get especially into winter, I remember last winter, you talking about last winter was challenging for yourself, and it depends on what your year has looked like. I lived away for 2 years studying, and last year was the first winter back, and I've almost started to learn, winter is something I need to prepare myself for, like mentally, to cope with. It can become a bit more isolating for me, and just in January last year I really got to that. I need to see more people. It gets dark at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and I live on my own, and that was a real challenge for me. So I joined a choir in January just to kind of get out, and I love singing, but just once a week I would just connect, and I really needed it in that winter period, and I still go now, but just to kind of connect with people. And afterwards we'd stop and have a drink. It was in a pub, it was in a local pub, and just that connection
sounds
with
lovely.
people, really lovely, and it was really what I needed, you know.
So last Christmas I was very isolated. I could go like weeks without seeing another human, and it made me realise how important, even though I don't feel like a particularly social animal, just like seeing people to pass the time of day with, like human contact, how important it is, which was I was quite surprised by how much
did
I
you
missed
feel
that.
it at the time? Like, were you able to say to yourself, I know what's wrong?
Yeah, do you know what it was? I got sick of my own voice in my head. When you're sort of on your own and you sort of noodle your thoughts, and I just just like...
A break.
Yeah, another point of view, please.
Is that something we all need to get better at in your experience?
Yeah, I think I'd certainly connect with it. I think we're a lot more isolated, or can become easily isolated now, isn't it? And especially in the winter, if you're not out as much, days are darker and things like that. So I think isolation is a real tricky point for some of us, if we, sometimes we don't know it as well, isn't it?
I was going to ask whether, like, it's living in the sort of areas we do, whether that's more a common problem because you've got like physical isolation. As well, but
like out in the countryside.
But I know anybody. You can live in the middle of a built-up city and be.
Cities are lonely places, aren't
they? Maybe. So
I think on an individual level, it's actually like, what do I need socially, isn't it? How do I connect with people? Do I need to, have a phone call with somebody, or connect in that way, isn't it? And getting a bit creative with it. Like I say, when I joined that choir, it was to just talk to people about just just their days and things like that. And just I know I kind of know, actually this is before I started this role, that's why, and I was working remotely.
Okay.
So I was working remotely, and I could go a week without leaving my house, especially in the winter. Just kind of getting out and sitting with people of all ages, and hearing the stories, I loved it, and it was so good for me, but it's quite an individual kind of need, isn't it?
Finding your thing. My dad swears by having a dog, like, because
to get him out.
Yeah, walking his dog, and people always talk to you when you've got a dog.
That doesn't work for me, because I don't take the dog out. Sorry, dog. But I get it. You have to do a bit of self-reflection if you are feeling like you're sliding into something that's not great, and
or doing something different, like what you're doing isn't working,
change it.
And I think sometimes you got to be a bit brave and get out of your comfort zone, like you're saying about going to join a choir.
It wasn't comfortable at all.
It never is it, doing a new thing?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm quite confident in going to new things, but equally walking into a new place of a group that was established and things like that takes a lot of courage and things like that, isn't it? And to keep going, because I told myself that now this isn't going to feel comfortable for a couple of weeks. I could have just stopped after the first week, because I didn't make any. Absolutely. And we talk a lot about, especially in our unhelpful thinking session in 8 weeks and in our one-to-ones, when you're practicing new different thoughts about yourself, it's not always comfortable. And I give this analogy of like a field, and you walk into a field, and there's the well-trodden path, isn't there? And like on a coastal path or on a national walk or whatever, there's a path, and you just go onto it because that's where it's well trodden and it's clear and things like that. And it's a bit like our negative thoughts about ourselves. When we practice negative thoughts about ourselves, that's just the path we go, because it's the path of least resistance as well, isn't it? It's familiar to us, it's rehearsed. Practicing kinder words about ourselves and more positive ways of thinking about ourselves is unfamiliar. You've maybe never walked that path before, and when you come back to it a second time, you won't necessarily recognise it either, and so it takes practicing those kind of ways of treating ourselves, isn't it?
Doing stuff a different way. But that's the thing, isn't it? Nothing changes if nothing changes.
And just that thing of, just because this is uncomfortable right now and unfamiliar doesn't mean it's not going to be maybe helpful down the line. It's definitely a kind of an investment, isn't it?
It really is.
Future you, isn't it?
Yes. And I think, again, a lot of us aren't brilliant at that, about being forgiving and kind, and knowing that your worth, the compassion for self, it is something you need to practice, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the ways we encourage people to look after their mental health in positive ways, because we often think about the negative, of avoiding anxiety or avoiding crisis and stress and distress, but actually it's flipping it, look at what helps us build resilience and build well-being, well-being, and we use a helpful guide of just the 5 steps of 5 ways of well-being.
5 ways of well-being.
5 ways of well-being. So we'll go through those. So the first is just to connect with people.
Right.
It reduces that isolation, doesn't it? And just, we all need it. We're social beings, aren't we? We need it to different levels, and we can all have different challenges with connecting with people. But it's finding the ways that help us to connect, isn't it? Getting out, going for coffee, joining a group, going to
the
drop
spa in our village. I'm talking to the lady in the spa.
Oh, the spa.
Everything.
I thought you meant like go for a Indian head massage.
Too, that'd be all right.
But the spa. So don't go for an Indian head massage.
Other local shops are available.
Sorry, Vicky.
No, that's okay. I've often
do continue.
challenged myself when I go for a walk down the beach to just strike up a conversation with somebody. Because I know it helps me. Like I know it's good for me.
And you never know what effect it's going to have on someone else who might also be quite
absolutely
lonely.
Some of the best conversations you have with people, like
unexpected.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's a slowing down as well, isn't it? And it kind of taps into another one, which is like taking notice. That's another step of the 5 ways of well-being, to take notice of just what's around you. And it very much, I don't know if you've heard of kind of mindfulness,
of course,
relaxation.
I really struggle
like
with mindfulness. I really struggle with I remember, I think I've asked you about 4,000 times, what is it?
Yeah.
And I
break it down for us, Vicky.
I will do my very best. It's very, again, it equally then puts a pressure on. I now need to be able to do this thing well, don't I? That brings some anxiety. But in its very basic form, it's about just being able to slow down and just take notice of your in the moment experience, and without that pressure, without that judgment of often our thoughts are about the past or about the future, anxieties about what's coming, or regrets and grief and loss, and it takes us away from that present moment.
Just being.
Yeah,
and I think that's why maybe I do it. Like when I'm making jewellery, that's all I'm doing. There's nothing else, or video gaming. There's nothing else happening.
You're in a flow.
Yeah,
state
and I think
almost.
maybe because it's I'm fortunate to have like quite a bit of it that I don't really think about it because it's just happening. But the thing where you can lose yourself in something, and
definitely.
that's
a hobby as well, isn't it? It's great, isn't
got
it?
your whole sort of.
Our thoughts get really consumed by things that, again, are outside of our control. The past is
and stuff that's not happening,
future.
stuff that's like not actually happening. We spend loads of time freaking out about stuff that could or might, and then
mind reading, of how people respond to us and things like that. That kind of, what if then, thinking, isn't it?
That's making me think back to you joining the choir and like feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
You were very honest with yourself and said you'll notice that it's going to be uncomfortable, but you'll get through it, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
It sort of seems to tie back into your 5 ways of well-being.
Absolutely. And I think, sometimes it might not work out, and you don't have to force yourself to say that, but what I kind of said to myself was give it 6 weeks, if it really doesn't fit for you, then you've given it a good go.
You don't have to keep
usually,
doing it,
if something's going to help you and you're going to find something comfortable after about, a few weeks, then you'll know either way, isn't it? So I kind of coached myself to sit in that difficult feelings, isn't it?
And know that you were okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's another, definitely more than okay. It really supported me to connect with people and get out of the house and things, and learn about. It's just so many lovely stories I've learned about the people I've connected with, and then you've made friends, haven't you? And connected with people in different ways that you don't normally.
No, absolutely. You're stepping outside. So we've got, connection,
take notice, being active. Actually, I'll go back to taking notice as well, because I always talk about this. I do really like this one. This is a journey for me as well with mindfulness. I know we're talking a bit about mindfulness, so it'd be lovely to share kind of some ways that I practice that for myself. And one of the big ways I share with people is, for me in the morning, if it's dry and not lashing it down, is getting out first thing with my breakfast and my coffee.
But we
and
live
sitting
in
outside.
Wales.
Yeah, as I say, if it's dry. And I get my bird app out. If you've seen those apps,
I got it.
I put that on, and I just give myself, at the beginning, I could do a couple of minutes of just sitting there and focusing on the birds and learning what they were, So I was kind of learning as well, But just taking notice of their sounds and recognising their sounds, it really gave me a helpful way of just practicing that,
Of being present.
Just being present in that moment, There's no expectation on you. There's no performance. There's no, I've got to do this well. It's just experiencing the nature around you. And nature's a big one, isn't it?
Sure.
Getting out in nature and
transformative sometimes.
We say we go through a phase that we've going like not having. I've forgotten how to talk. Not having been out very much, but we're quite good at egging each other on, like going, if we go for what you're always going to feel better. But sometimes it's really tough. But if you get out and sort of
push yourself a little bit,
it's that distraction thing as well. Hooked in,
and knowing that it's a kindness that you're investing in yourself.
If nature isn't your thing, is kind of taking notice of just your breathing, you know, and the things that are around yourself, you know.
I wanted to ask you about breathing.
Breathing is so, like, this sounds really stupid, but like breathing is so important. I mean, not, yeah, obviously, but
and it's really regulating as well. You know, when you talk about this fancy word for kind of being okay, you know, your emotions and things like that. When we're distressed, you know, we're dysregulated. Dysregulation, and when we're regulated, we feel kind of calm and in our sweet spot almost sometimes, isn't it? But it's really quite regulating. It's not just about giving oxygen to your body. You know, it does a lot for your mind. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But
incredible.
like, you know, we sort of know, like, you know, take deep breaths. But like I was really surprised on, like, sort of the power of like breathing out. Like, it's good for when you're in physical pain and stuff as well, you know, those the slow breathing. But it's not something you think about, is it? Because you're just doing it all the time.
There's a lot of resistance as well. Like, you know, if somebody maybe says to you, I'm panicking, what do I do? And you say, have you tried, you know, doing a little bit of gentle breathing? They go, dude, I'm having a panic attack. I always breathe.
Absolutely.
How do you?
You got to really time that. Have you ever thought?
I guess.
You know.
Yeah.
I think helping people understand the benefit and the purpose of it, isn't it? Because it can feel too simplistic, can't it? And when you're in a panic, you know, when you think of your kind of your threat system, that's what it is, isn't it? Your threat system's activated, you know, your fight or flight, and you're trying to survive, aren't you? To you maybe don't have the brain capacity to think, oh, I'll just stop and think about my breathing, isn't it? Whereas that can really help bring you out of that kind of threat system, isn't it?
And that you're not sort of minimalising someone's...
Yes, because it can sound like a cliche, can't it?
No, absolutely.
Have you tried breathing?
Absolutely, definitely. But once you've kind of experienced it and benefited from it, like you say, when you've experienced a mental health issue or difficulty, you really do appreciate the kind of the real lived experience of it, don't you?
Can that help, Vicky, if you sort of personalise and say, in my experience, when I feel like that, or you know, when I'm having difficult days,
when
something
you're
like
trying
this,
to help somebody else. Definitely.
To make again that connection kind of thing.
Yeah, and that you're not kind of prescribing to somebody. You're not saying, you know, do this and this formula and you'll get X, Y, and Z, isn't it? I always think it's trial and error, isn't it? With
it may not work for you, but
and understanding that and being compassionate about that, but that it's an option, isn't it, to explore.
So, what's thing 4?
Well, I think I only did 2. So we've got connection. We've got connection. We've got take notice, keeping learning. You know, learning.
Yes.
We've got staying active and giving.
Learning's good, isn't it? Because it keeps your brain plastic.
Neuroplasticity.
Definitely.
You all see, you know, again in the choir I go to, the lady that plays piano, she's in her like 80s or 90s, I don't want to put a number on this, and she's incredible, like, you know, you just think, gosh, there's a lot of research into playing an instrument and the impact that has on your brain, and just on your resilience really as well, you know, it's incredible, isn't it? So I think there's a lot for learning languages, but it doesn't have to be going to school, you know, it can be, or, you know, or studying a course, it can be taking up a hobby, learning something that you enjoy, isn't it? Knitting, like whatever, it's just
going down a rabbit hole on the internet.
You never know what it's going to spark as well.
Yeah, definitely, just activates your brain, doesn't it? And get a lot of enjoyment from it and things. There's so many different ways to learn, isn't there?
There really are.
Is there anything you're learning? Is there anything you're learning at the moment?
I've been learning Welsh for about 4,000 years, and I do it in bursts, and then I go, I can't ever do this again.
Oh, well done.
And then it's only because I'm nosy and I want to know what the lady in the aforementioned shop is saying to everybody. But I think it's.
I think with a busy brain that comes with ADHD, you are constantly going down all those rabbit holes that you just mentioned, and
I'm saying nothing.
Learning is
you get real joy about
I do
finding, you know, new stuff out, don't you?
The difficulty is prioritizing and knowing, not to spend 6 days finding out about whatever it is that week. But yeah, I do think learning it's habit forming once you're in that zone.
It's distracting. You find out new stuff. Finding out new stuff is cool.
Good.
Yeah, definitely. I think, what am I learning at the moment? I've been teaching myself to swim.
Have you?
Yeah. Covers a couple of my 5 ways to well-being, to be honest.
Yeah.
But beginning of this year, I kind of was like, I love being in water.
Right.
I love nature and things like that, but I love being in water. But never really did proper swim, people do lengths and things like that.
Yeah.
Didn't really get past 10 metres in school, I don't know why, but just didn't. And so I was like, I think I could learn. So I just started watching like YouTube videos and TikToks on, professionals telling you how to swim.
Yeah.
And every time I'd go swimming there, I'd go about 3 times a week, and I'd just practice, and now I'm suddenly able to breathe underwater, and not
breathe underwater.
I'm able to breathe while
You heard it here first, people.
She has gills.
So
funny. But to
mindfulness,
my head up for air.
fast evolution. What was the other thing?
That's cool.
That's amazing.
Lann likes a new hobby and doing new things. So we tried cold water swimming.
Is that what you've been doing, or have you been going to a pool?
I do a bit. I do go to a pool with a sauna and a jacuzzi.
I'm with you, because we went to Tresaith in the sea in March, which is apparently the worst time of year to go in the water, and I confidently say I got zero joy.
I do love going in the sea.
I was waiting. I love being in water. I'm a bit scared of the sea because things live in it. But it was just, I was waiting for the endorphins to kick in, and I'm still waiting.
It did snow though, which was lovely.
It did snow.
I loved that.
There was a man.
So dramatic.
There was a man from the council doing something, and
it brightened up his day.
He was laughing like a drain.
Going and singing, aren't you? Like,
yeah. But it was amazing. I was wearing my Fitbit, and I think it thought I died because my heart rate went like this and then like that. That's what I kind
and
of
then we went home.
And then we've got staying active as another way to well-being, and again, that can look very different for us all, isn't it? But just getting out and moving our bodies, isn't it? And just engaging our bodies in movement as opposed to exercise. That can be. Why is that? I think it can. Well, when you think about kind of the hormones it can release as well, isn't it? And the impact that can have on our mental health is huge. Endorphins and all those different hormones, those feel-good hormones they can release, isn't it? But I think just exercise is so good for our physical health and our mental health, isn't it? But it can be so hard when you're in the trenches of maybe depression or anxiety. It's not something it's easily to prioritise, isn't it? And so it's taking the pressure off. It's not about exercising the 30 minutes 5 times a week or whatever the recommendation is.
You can literally step out and walk around somewhere.
Get out walking and do it enjoyable ways. If you enjoy dancing, get some Zumba up on your YouTube, isn't it? If you enjoy cycling and things like that, or just different movement, there's loads on you. Even kind of if you're not physically able to kind of get up and go out for a walk, chair exercise is a huge thing on YouTube.
It's fascinating. I always thought I was the kid that hated PE and stuff because I wasn't good at it. I am not fast. And then when I was a grown up, I found out I really like lifting heavy stuff, and I really like resistance. Anything sort of pushy pulley is my jam. And I think experimenting to find out what works for you.
Absolutely.
It's important.
There will be something, won't there? Not to give up and go, I'm not sporty.
Yeah.
You can still walk or climb a tree or
swim.
Absolutely.
Swim,
Swimming, different things, isn't it? And if it's something that's difficult, pair it up with one of the other ways, connecting, go for a walk with somebody, isn't it? Yeah. Or like me, I paired it with learning, I kind of was learning to swim, and different things like that. If you're really sociable, do group activities, there's loads going on in leisure centres and in community centres and things like that, isn't it? Finding different ways like that, isn't it? but I think just being active and getting out and just moving your body, isn't it? Releasing those hormones and things, and yeah.
Fabulous.
And do we need to say giving as a like a heading?
That could be in volunteering. That could be kind of complimenting somebody. It could be, thanking a friend for just what they mean to you. Telling somebody. We always think of giving as like financial, and then oh gosh, that's the pressure, isn't it? Yeah. But giving can be saying, do you fancy going for a walk? Giving some company to somebody else. Then you both benefit, don't you? And volunteering is a big way, isn't it?
So just to recap, Vicky, the 5 ways to well-being.
Yeah, so we've got connecting, socialising, seeing people. We've got giving, and that's not necessarily just kind of giving financially or giving stuff or thing. It could be giving time and skills, teaching somebody a new skill, things like that. We've got taking notice, just being present in the moment without that judgment, and just really kind of taking notice of your surroundings and nature and things like that, and just in the moment and not focused on the past or the present or the future, I should say. We've got keeping learning, keeping your brain active, do things and explore things you enjoy and you're interested in, staying active.
I love that list.
Yes, it's a good list.
Thank you.
Vicky, how did you end up doing this? What did little Vicky want to be?
I think I was one of those kids that it kind of changed with the weather, really. I was like, but I remember wanting to be a teacher. I remember wanting to be a photographer. And I've always loved baking and cooking, so I always thought about becoming a baker or something like that. Different ones, which are all very far from what I do now, aren't they?
So how did you end up doing what you're doing?
I think in a nutshell it's really evolved, and for me it's been through my personal experience of challenges with my own mental health.
Right.
I think that will be kind of what's drawn me into this sphere and made me so passionate about it. And I think pretty much from my teenagers really kind of struggled with my mental health, with depression and anxiety. I struggled with self-harm in my teens, and just accessing support and recovery was really challenging, and throughout my life I've kind of experienced those in fluctuation, so it's been a real journey of learning about myself and how to take care of myself. And it can often I know for me it just built a real kind of self-criticism in me, do better, and there's something wrong with you. There's
lots of shame,
lots of shame, lots
guilt.
of kind of guilt, definitely, and stigma and things like that, isn't it? Of not being able to cope with life in the way that you see other people coping, isn't
the
it?
comparison thing, we keep coming back to this, and it's so damaging.
Definitely.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's what's brought me into this field, really, is just my pure passion for experiencing compassionate people who really helped me, and just a real passion to hopefully share that with people and be the same for other people and reduce that stigma, really, isn't it?
The more we talk, the better.
Yeah,
it's very
absolutely.
powerful.
That makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for so many years, as I journeyed my own journey with it, there was a lot of stigma. And I think when you've experienced recovery and put yourself out of that comfort zone of talking about it, you really experience the power of talking about it and not, there really isn't any shame. We're all human beings.
It's kind of like shining a light in the dark, isn't it? If you've seen anything, it stops being scary. If you look things in the face,
definitely, absolutely.
It can be difficult, but
it takes
the power away from it.
You find that other people have been going through similar stuff,
and that it's just a normal part of human existence,
absolutely.
Isn't it? Yeah. We all have needs, and we can often kind of try and push them aside and what's the word?
Be perfect.
Not be in need and things like that, isn't it? Especially if we fear not being able to get those needs met and things, isn't it? So it's been a big journey for me throughout my teenage years and my 20s, really, of coming to a place of recovery and things like that. So I've always been really passionate about it and worked in different spheres. I started working out in children's homes, in residential care, with teenagers, with different behavioural needs and emotional and psychological challenges that many have from growing up in care, isn't it? And that was a real eye-opener. And again, I've just really always had a heart and just a burden for people that, you know, don't have that kind of support around them, you know, and that kind of builds that resilience, isn't it? So I've just worked through in various different charity sectors, really. And then I spent probably about 6 years working locally in kind of housing support.
Okay.
And supporting people with their housing, and I think you get to a point then where you're like, there's an underlying need, you know, that drives this, and then I kind of got really passionate about working with people with mental health, because often mental health comes with, you know, challenges with like managing, you know, basic needs and housing.
It never
and
happens in its
things
own
like
bubble.
that, isn't it? No, absolutely, definitely. And what you'd find is, you know, people actually really needed support with their mental health to be able to manage tenancies and jobs and all of that, isn't it, kind of thing. So
everything you were doing has been sort of leading to.
It's
do
been a
you
very
feel
interesting
like where
path.
you are now is really something that?
Yeah, do you know, I used to, well, at the age of 17, I lived on Priory Street, and I'd walk up and down past Mind, and I always say this because I'd walk to school past Mind, you know,
Okay.
and I'd see, and I always knew of it, and I always thought I'd love to work there one day. Probably about, I remember specifically walking past when I was 17 and having that thought, I'd love to work there one day, and many years later, here we are. So yeah, I'm really happy. I love my role. And just really passionate about supporting people in this way, really.
Brilliant.
It really comes across. You can tell.
Yeah, thank you. No, I do. I was thrilled to get this role and to be part of the team, just providing that support, you know. As you say, you know, support comes from various ways, you know, and it's not a kind of you know, one size fits all, you know, and we're really passionate about people understanding that we're here to meet you where you are. When somebody comes in for support into the centre, it's okay, what's going on for you?
Yes.
Well, how can we help? It's not about, okay, you need X, Y and Z, you need to go and see, you know, it's about, you know, here are some options, you know, and you know, it's important for us to have an awareness of what, you know, and really be able to share that information with people. And when you're in crisis, when you're in need, you don't know what's available to you, so to be able to just drop in somewhere and there'd be some people who can say, well, this is available, you know,
it can be a great relief, can't it?
And
allow you that space to then explore how you are going to get more well.
Yeah, definitely, and take some control and agency in that as well. It's huge, isn't
vital.
It?
But it's like a lot of things. I think until you need it, you might not sort of consider it, and then if you suddenly find yourself in a place, it can be so overwhelming. You do need a bit of hand holding.
Absolutely. We have people come in the centre that have been coming years, and then every week we'll have somebody, you know, new coming in that's coming into, and it's such a beautiful community of people who, you know, for them they think, oh, you know, I'm coming here because I'm in need. But what they don't realise is how much they contribute to each other as well. Like we all do, you know. We're not just you know, on the receiving end of support, we're social beings, isn't it? So it's such a beautiful community of people in the centre there.
It sounds lovely.
So if we circle back to the run up to Christmas, being as it is triggering for a lot of people, are there things that we can do, maybe try new things to you know, make our experiences more positive, or take the pressure off, I guess?
Yeah. I think sometimes just evaluating what are the expectations that maybe you have, or that people put on you as well, isn't it? I think boundaries is a big one at Christmas, isn't it? And boundaries, we often think about boundaries just with people, but boundaries can be with your time, they can be digitally, you know, how you engage with social media and things like that, you know, they can be with your finances. You know, finance is a big one. We think, gosh, we need to meet up to this expectation, but if your budget doesn't match that, then that's going to lead to a lot of distress, not right now, but maybe 3 months after Christmas when you get the bill, isn't it? So just setting that time away where you can really think mindfully and really truly about, you know, what is in your budget financially, what can you achieve that isn't going to put you into debt and in distress, isn't it? Your boundaries with people and your time, what can you give? You know, you might have 2 sets of in-laws that are demanding on your time. You know, when you have that time to yourself or with your family, say, how do we want Christmas to look? What's going to be supportive to us? Before you make commitments and things,
from it?
Isn't it?
That's right. Just pause and think,
That's something
is this good for me?
I don't know if we take the time to sort of do that. Go like, what do I want from this? I want to hang out with the people that I love. I want to eat as many good things as I possibly can. I want to watch a considerable amount of telly.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't want to do any of those things.
You don't have to do any of them. You don't want to eat anything delicious?
No, I do. I was trying to practice my boundaries.
Oh, okay.
Hypothetically, but
I don't mind. I'll eat the good things on this side of the room.
Okay.
It's okay.
And what are from past years? What have been the trigger points for me? What
That's
have been
really
the points where it's gotten too much and I've gotten to a place of overwhelm and.
Sorry, I thought you were asking me.
No, but as soon as you said
I was about to start telling you my trigger points.
Yeah, no, as soon as you said that, I was thinking it's when you try and please too many people, isn't it?
Is
it that point? Yeah, and it can be quite personal. So having that reflective time with yourself in the lead up, isn't it? Of what kind of, and so what things can I put in place just to help support me and just to avoid getting to that place? It's not always a perfect science, is it? But
no, it'll need tweaking, and you might not get it right the first year or the second year or the third Christmas, but you'll be refining it all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
And it might be a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, and evaluating those expectations, especially with presents and gifts and things like that. And sometimes it can be conversations with your with your family and the people around you to say, I'm just not in a position to do that this year. It doesn't mean that I don't love you and care about you, but I'm just not in a position right now.
I don't think that people are that bothered.
They're not. Once we start talking...
If you had to talk, if it was... When you're looking at it from someone else's point of view, or like when I'm thinking, like, I don't really want any things. I want you to be. I want you to be around.
Yes.
Yeah.
But once you start talking about
that, it maybe hopefully releases the pressure a bit for you. Whereas that kind of could have been building if you maybe hadn't.
That's
had
right.
That conversation,
and with some of the people you'll talk to, they'll go, "Oh, I'm so pleased you said that." Because I'm struggling this year and I don't know, how much to spend or what to get, or and then you can connect and make a plan together, which is even better, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you have to speak up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think especially with like extended family as well, is having conversations with your family about how well that goes and whether that's helpful to you all and whether that's what you want this year to look like, isn't it? And ways around that, really, isn't it?
Yeah. We can have a reasonable and happy Christmas.
It can be done.
It can be done.
But it needs a little bit of work and a bit of self-reflection and
reflecting
defining
on those
what's
pressure points, isn't it? Definitely those
what's
triggers.
useful.
And what's enjoyable, isn't it?
Vicky, thank you so much for coming
You're
in.
welcome.
And
thank you for having me.
Talking to us about the mind and Christmas. And
I think there's some really useful tips, and I love the 5 ways to Wellbeing. I'll be tattooing them.
I absolutely,
into my memory.
While you were saying about them and explaining, I was going through them and thinking, oh yeah, I can use that definitely, or this would be good then. Really, really useful stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I've loved it. Thank you.
It's been wonderful, and thank you for proving that you are special AF.
I'm glad.
Thank you for watching or listening wherever you are. You can have a look at our website, special-af.com, to find out what we're up to and who's on next.